Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first of what I assume will be many sessions focused on a peek behind the curtain on how decisions are made at a high growth software company. This particular presentation is going to focus on the anatomy of strategy. And we're going to talk about how a branding campaign, HubSpot, the hybrid company, kind of comes to be, right? You see the end result. This is going to be a peek behind the curtain. So first, a little bit of background. When you work in software for as long as I have, you get very accustomed to these very opaque and strange asks, frankly, from executives without much context. So when Brian Halligan, our CEO, asked me to build a branding campaign for a hybrid company, as he hopped on his helicopter and took off for a 6-month vision quest, I knew I had to spring into action, and my strategic brain just kind of kicked right in. So naturally, the first thing that you do is unpack the problem. You start off with definitions, right? So I went to Google, right? I Googled the word hybrid. And of the various definitions, this is the one that kind of spoke to me the most. A thing made by combining two different elements, a mixture. Like that doesn't give me enough detail. So I had to kind of go a little bit further on my own. I'm not sure why. The first thing that came to mind was zombies, half dead, half alive. Ruminated on that for about 3 minutes. And I realized we have a bunch of zombies already at HubSpot, mostly in human resources and legal. We probably don't need more. I think Halligan is really good at kind of sticking to his guns. So I think we're all set there. And, that's when the light bulb moment happened. What's that phrase that we've been hearing roughly every 45 seconds since March, right? That phrase that every time you hear it, you want to close your laptop, disassociate from society, and just walk until you hit water. The new normal, right? Everywhere you go, people are talking about this new normal. And like any brand, we have to kind of latch on to that. So I'm pretty sure what Halligan meant was a hybrid company. Is that, we have a lot of remote work. That's kind of how it works these days by necessity. Eventually, we'll open our office back up. So we'll have some in-office work. By hybrid company, he probably means a mixture, right? People can work from home. They can work in the office, whatever they'd like. And I think this really fits with our core values. Something we've been saying for a long time, actually, as we built out our culture, is that work is not a place. Right? It's a deal you make to trade your soul for small amounts of money. And that kind of soul is dripped out of you slowly but surely over time. And I think really that is what this is all about. So again, putting my strategic hat back on, we know that there's going to be a question, right? As soon as we come up with this answer and I come up with my strategy, whatever it is, you're going to get this question. Will it scale? With this idea of a hybrid company scale, this is something that execs like Halligan ask, no matter what it is, right? And what they're trying to do is just kind of catch you off guard. And really what it boils down to is they want perfection, but they do not want to pay for it. So they're going to make you anguish over this idea of scale. But luckily, I've been here before, so I know how to go about this. I need to come up with some options. And step one, because we're going to this hybrid model, we have a lot of office space, right? We've been growing like a weed for nigh on 15 years now. What are we going to do with all this extra space? So I came up with a few ideas. The first one needs a little bit of context. This is a real picture from HubSpot's headquarters in Cambridge, Mass. This is our nap room, which is on the 4th floor. You've probably seen it in every puff piece written about HubSpot's culture and our office perks, et cetera. The backstory here is our CEO, again, Brian, is famous for taking naps, right? Middle of the day, closes his eyes and comes up with incredible ideas when he wakes up. And it got me to thinking, like working parents, such as myself, right now, we got nothing but free time, right? Our kids are doing remote school. So we're like half teacher, half work, doing this shit strategy thing for our execs. What do we have time to do more than take naps? Just like our CEO, who lives in a skyscraper above the city of Boston, and just pop into bed in the middle of the day. So I think this is a really good idea, right? Turn all of the office into one big nap room. That way everybody gets those ideas. We democratize that a little bit. Number two, I want to give options to Halligan, even though I think the nap thing is a good idea, is a think tank. Right? I think HubSpot has been long a thought leader when it comes to sales and marketing. We can kind of bring a bunch of the best minds in the game around to come up with a new opening line for these brand emails to replace the term "in these uncertain times." Right? I actually looked through my inbox. I had about 900 emails that started that way, with brands assuring me that in these uncertain times, now more than ever, we will 100% sell you your product. So I think that'll be a good alternative. And hey, maybe we can do both. We'll see if we can get these ideas funded by the zombies in finance. Okay, so step one done. We solve for the in-office culture. But remember, we have a bunch of people who are now going to make this conscious decision to work remotely. And what do people who decided to work from the comfort of their own homes want? They want that authentic feel of the kind of classic American corporate culture and the in-office perks that come along with it. So I have a few ideas. The first is key card access for your bedroom. Right? How annoying is it that we just have complete carte blanche access to every area in our home without having to tap your nerd badge or your wrist or whatever against these little things to get in? Calling your significant other from the parking lot or your driveway saying, hey, I'm locked out. I miss that personally, and I want to add that authentic feel back. Number two, and bear with me here, is 40 jars of peanut butter, all 1/8 full. Now more than ever, I'm missing getting peanut butter all over my knuckles as I scrape the bottom of some sad little peanut butter jar that some junior engineer, for some reason, refused to throw away, right? I'm sick of the fact that my family respects things being empty and throws them away. I want to go into a little tiny kitchenette and see these things piled up. So we're going to ship these 40 per employee to every HubSpot employee at their home office. And then lastly, I really had to sit down and think about it. What's the thing I miss most? At HubSpot in our office way back when we worked there, we had a gym. Not a big deal. And one of the things I miss most was that awkward eye contact when you're completely sweaty next to your coworkers like Katie Burke, our chief people officer. Again, I call this one Jacked Brian. But I think now more than ever, this is what I'm missing most, right? Awkward interaction. So we're going to come up with this idea of a virtual corporate gym membership. You'll be forced to work out and look deeply into the eyes of your coworkers. So that's it. If you were ever curious about how strategy happens, this is how it goes. Not the most glamorous thing in the world, but I'm happy to have a position that I get to use kind of both sides of my brain and really focus on the strategic. Next week, we'll be covering a new topic, so make sure to tune in, and thank you very much for paying attention to my ranting and raving.